to SciBookChat. It's been a really long time since I filmed one of these, but there's new episodes coming up and this is the first one. We'll be talking about science in books, but first I want to take you on a little trip to the bookstore. This is Foyle's bookstore in the centre of London. It's a very large bookstore with lots of floors and lots of different sections. So here in the art section there is lots of books about art, there are art magazines, books about artists, books on how to create things. The travel section has guides to places to visit, but it also has travel stories. The food section of course has lots of cookbooks, but it also has books about food culture or about specific diets. And the music section, which is my favourite in this store, has a really long row of cabinets with drawers of sheet music so you can make your own music. But it also has books about music theory or music history and biographies of musicians. So what's in the science section? Here we also have different types of books. There are textbooks, biographies, and a big collection of popular science books, which are usually either about one specific area of science or they have a particular overarching topic. So there are lots of different books about science, and I've not even shown you the crossover books. Like you could have a book about the science of food, or you can have a book about the science of music. And books like that, sometimes you might find them in different parts of the store, so it would be both in the science section and in another section. I've also not shown you fictional books about science, or graphic novels about science, or children's books that have science in it. There's a lot out there. But sometimes people get a bit stuck on the idea that a science book should always be a book that teaches you science, and that's definitely the case for textbooks. But I'm not sure that that's really true for all books that have to do with science. If you read a really good biography about a scientist, you might not actually learn that much science from it. You just learn about what that person's life was like, and a lot of that will not teach you a lot of science. It will just teach you about a person. I might also pick up a non-fiction book, not so much because I want to learn something about this topic, but because it's already a topic that I know a lot about and it's something that I really love. And then I won't necessarily learn something from this book, but maybe the book is really well written or very well designed, or it's got great pictures, and maybe I'll learn a little bit, but I wouldn't pick up the book specifically to learn something. And I also often learn from fictional books. Even though these books are fictional, they do often contain little bits of information about locations or historical events or about science, and if I find it interesting I might look up more about it, and then I often discover that something like that's actually real. I'm much more likely to remember it if I found it out through that way, I think, because of the extra step of having to fact check it. So what do you think about when you think about science and books together? Do you think about non-fiction only, or can there be science in fiction? Or do you think about school textbooks? And is it always clear to you as a reader if a book is written by a scientist or by a writer who has interviewed scientists and done their own research? And does that distinction even matter to you? I'm actually going to be talking about that in one of the future episodes, so if you want to not miss that, you should subscribe. And let me know in the comments what you think about when you think about science and books. I just had to refilm a whole bit because it's really warm today, and I turned off the fan and then I put the fan back on and then I put the camera back on, and I should not have done that.